So for over the last year or so, all I've heard about is AI replacing artists. However, I think that's the wrong take. I don't think AI will take over the artist's job, but I do think it's coming for the manager's jobs. Before we get into what we built on this channel so far, I want to get into who I am. I'm not new to this music thing. Since 2018, I've got 26 songs that have been pushed out, published, mixed, mastered, and produced by myself. These are collaborations with artists, real music, real talent, really out there. But here's what killed that momentum. And it wasn't the music. It's never the music. It's the admin side. The publishing registration, the metadata entry, ISRC codes, distribution paperwork, royalty splits, and even cover art specs. Every single time I finished a song, I became a marketer, a manager, an accountant, not just an artist. That's what killed the music. See, that's not a creative problem though. That's an operations problem. And operational problems have operational solutions. So in video 7, link down below if you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and go watch it. I promoted my AI, Dwight, to my music manager. And no, this wasn't a joke. It was a proof of concept. The premise is simple. Juice makes the music and Dwight's my manager, doing all the music ops behind the scene. Now video 8, the video you're watching right now, that's the proof. This is us building the systems, the infrastructure if you will. We're building the machine that runs underneath the music so the music itself can breathe freely. See, I think these technocrats in the world right now are using AI to kind of take over the world and play God. Instead of, being doomsday all the time, I took this as a parable. The technocrats are building the flood, but I'm not going to fight the water. I'm going to build an ark and swim along with them. And step one of that is to get paid. I know that sounds pretty obvious, but this is something that a lot of artists forget to do, and I forgot to do myself when I was getting started out. So what I did was go ahead and secure a BMI writer account. My IPI number given to me by BMI is 0134519551. Now this isn't like a social security number. This is a personal identification number for me on BMI. So if you ever want to look up my music and see what I'm a part of, you can find me there. Here's the reality of the music business though. Every time your song gets a play, whether that's on Apple Music, Spotify, in the club, at the bar, or even on a TikTok, a publishing royalty is generated. Well, if you're not registered, that money gets collected, but it goes nowhere. Or it gets paid out to Drake and Taylor Swift at the end of the year. BMI is just the collecting agency. The account means that when the song gets plays, and I know it will, the money has somewhere to land, preferably in my bank account. So step 1 was done. We're moving on to step 2, the metadata. This is the most boring word of music and pretty much anything on the internet. However, it is the most important word in music and all of the internet. Every song that goes to the distributor need a few things. This includes the track title, the artist name, featured artist, any songwriter credits, producer credits, ISRC codes, genre and subgenre, language, explicit tags, and obviously, and most importantly, the release date. And all that's just for one song. Now imagine doing 6 every 3 months. Instead of doing 6 rounds of data entry myself, I handed the brief to Dwight. And what Dwight returned to me was fully formatted metadata for all 6 tracks on the EP coming up. Every field was clean, concise, and ready to upload. That's the job part of this, not the creative part, the infrastructure part. See, a good manager usually doesn't write your songs. A good manager, well, they make sure a song is set up to succeed when it's ready to get uploaded. And in this case, Dwight is a good manager. Everybody's favorite part, besides the music, is the cover art. There's a bias out there right now that I agree with as well, that everything that's been generated by AI looks fake, plastic, sterile, kind of made in a lab. I didn't want that for my cover art, so we solved that issue. Pulled up MidJourney. The prompt wasn't just aesthetic, it was intentional, atmospheric even, not literal. This is something that could be sitting in a record store from 1994 and no one blink an eye. But one thing I learned throughout this journey was that MidJourney itself doesn't put out 3000 by 3000 pixel images. That's the size of an image that DistroKid needs for Spotify. Since this image wasn't 3000 by 3000, we wrote a script to make it that way. It was 48 lines of Python code, and it was done in under 2 minutes. See, distributors are picky about the specs, and a slightly small image will get your song rejected. So I wanted to make sure that I had no chance of getting rejected. And the song we uploaded is the lead single from my EP called Rescind. This is a big moment for this channel and the Produced by Juice channel. Everything before this, the BMI account, the metadata, the cover art, that was all preparation for what we were doing now. This is the deployment. The track title, like I said, is Rescind. Produced by me, I go by Produced by Juice, and the cover art, it's uploaded as well. I dragged the audio file in, the metadata was pre-filled from the file that Dwight built. Every field, pre-planned. No guessing, no gambling. This is what operations infrastructure really looks like. You do all your thinking once, upstream. Then downstream is just execution. May 8th. The date I decided was May 8th. And no, this isn't just a random date. Spotify has one rule for editorial playlist pitching. Your track must be submitted at least 7 days before release. But the real strategy from those on Spotify say to upload it about 3 weeks early. That lead time is how you get in front of the Spotify's curators. You do this before the release, not after. On Spotify, the algorithm doesn't care how good your song is if no one's willing to listen to it. 3 weeks of lead time is how you give yourself a fighting chance for the algorithm. We'll get into the pitch that we gave Spotify in the next video, and of course, Dwight helped me with that. But the door for that only opens if you're on time. And the new channel, the music channel, it has 228 subscribers. It's 6 years old and it has some legacy to it. So here's the play I came up with. Once DistroKid uploads the song to all the streaming platforms, Spotify creates a channel page URL for each new artist. When that happens, you can claim an official artist channel on YouTube. That merges your YouTube profile with your Spotify identity. So Prod by Juice. Like I said, 228 subscribers becomes the foundation. We're not starting over. We're just going to be upgrading the content. From what I've learned the last 8 weeks, that's how you build. You don't start over every time you do something new. You layer it. You stack it up. You build on your milestones. You turn something that you already have into something bigger. So the track is uploaded, the metadata is clean, publishing is registered, the cover art looks professional, and the release date is locked. And with that, the arc is built. So now we just just wait for the water to rise. Tune in next week to see how my AI manager helps us pitch to Spotify. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you want to see down below. The music comes out May 8th, and I will link the channel to that when it comes out. Have a good one. Bye.